Hey, what's up? It's Chris here from Chris's Sci-Fi Reactions. Today we're back with another classic Doctor Who. I know it's been a very long time. This is Planet of Giants Part 1. So, yeah, really been enjoying Doctor Who. The last story was The Reign of Terror. I couldn't get that working with OBS, the in-screen, so I decided just to watch that story myself. It was a reasonably okay episode. I thought the best bit was in episode 1 when the Doctor bashes that bully's head in, basically, or knocks him on the head. A bit dark, because it's not the sort of thing you would see in New Who by the Doctor. But yeah, this is Planet of Giants, so looking forward to getting back into the Doctor Who classics again. I hope you are going to enjoy the reactions as well. Don't forget the full uncut and edited reaction is available on Patreon, listed in the description below. Also, the An Unearthly Child's Part 1 to 4 are free on Patreon. So you can head over there and access that. I'll put a link to the Unearthly Child Parts 1 to 4, I think, in the description on YouTube. I'll see if I can get it on there, if it fits. All of that, we'll see. But yes, so without further ado, let's just get straight on into this episode.
It's most puzzling. Oh, my dear Barbara, was I rude to you just now? I'm so sorry. I always forget the niceties under pressure.
I like his connection with Barbara. I really think, you know, he's taken her a bit under his wing.
You see, the temperature there is perfect. It's quite safe to go outside. Oh, Susan, just turn on the scanner and let's try and see where we are.
Shut it!
Perhaps you need a new tube, Doctor. Did you notice the way it blew out?
Yes, it was like an internal explosion of something.
It's a... Yes, come here. Come here. Yes, that's cement.
Might be.
Rather a rough kind, isn't it?
Yeah. Very rough. They look like pebbles of sand, don't they?
Yes. It's manufactured anyway to hold the stone in place. You know, to fix it firmly beneath.
I thought the stone was heavy enough to keep itself in place.
Yes, it's almost odd, isn't it? Most odd. Now, Barbara, I suggest that you and I take that pass, and Susan and you, sir, go that way. Hmm?
Yes, all right. But stay within calling distance, and if you see anything, sing out. We'll do the same.
Yes, yes, yes. Coloring this rock here is the controlling thing.
Doctor!
That's a pretty cool design.
It's a giant ant.
You're right, it is, Ian. It was trying to carry these eggs.
Yes, well, it's natural behavior for an ant when it's attacked. Take the eggs to safety. The worker ant would give his life rather than abandon the eggs, you know.
He couldn't have had much of a chance, could he? I mean, he must have died quickly.
Yes. These eggs scattered about. Other ants must have been frightened away. Wonder what sort of a world could produce an insect that size.
A planet with a higher gravity certainly could
I know what it is.
produce.
It's a huge earthworm.
What?
Yes, there are no earthworms this side on your planet.
You're right, there aren't.
You know, except for its size, I've put...
Some writing. Sea Company Limited, Norwich.
Norwich, that's England, isn't it? Norfolk.
Yeah,
Yes, it
Norwich. Not sure where it is.
Susan,
So.
this means we're on Earth. Something very odd here. First those ants. Now this. Suppose it couldn't be part of a crazy exhibition. You know, where everything had been increased in size.
Oh, now, this is interesting. This has been cut by a manufacturer.
Look out!
Gee,
Like the World's Fair. Things this size.
No, Ian.
no,
What
made
else?
smaller.
The scale of things.
You're wrong, Ian. Completely wrong. I thought just now that something was wrong when I saw that, but now I'm sure.
All right. What's your theory then?
Well, these things haven't been made bigger. We've been made smaller. Smaller?
We have been reduced roughly to the size of an inch.
An inch?
You,
Pretty small.
me, all of us, and the ship.
Oh god, I absolutely cannot stand when Susan gets sort of like
That was a great
her
big
screaming.
A huge one.
Oh, her voice is just, when she talks like this, is so jarring.
And he fell inside it, and now it's gone. It's gone, and he's inside it.
All right, Susan, it's all right.
Well, someone picked it up, I suppose.
Sorry if there's a bit of a cut here for people on Patreon. I just dropped the camera. Well, the camera fell down, so...
Did he have a matchbox?
How do I know?
I don't know how you know, but do you suppose he did?
I suppose so. You watch what you're doing, will you?
Well, look, Doctor, give us some hope. I mean, Ian's inside that matchbox.
Gently, gently. We've got to find Chesterton.
Grandfather, suppose he now walks off with it.
Have courage, my dear. I know all this is a bit of a nightmare, but we've just got to get Ian back, and then we can go back to the ship.
And then can you get us back to normal
But
size?
of course, yes, I'll try. There's always a chance. But first things first, we must find Chesterton. And we can't go back that way. We must go back the same way we came.
I'm sorry about that, but I can't give you the approval that you want.
We could, of course, spend more time on the
Well,
refining.
there's much more to it than that, as I mentioned to you on the telephone.
You want to bring in another expert, go over the tests again.
You're not a scientist, are you? Well, let me put it this way. On the surface, the N6 appeared to have all the characteristics of a major breakthrough in the manufacture of insecticide. Oh, and I can quite understand why you pinned all your hopes on it, particularly as my own minister was so enthusiastic.
Work something out. There's a fortune to be made out of this.
I don't
Typical
think I want to go on with this conversation.
Greed.
Really, I shouldn't be seeing you at all, except that I did promise over the phone that I would explain the facts to you in person.
What happens now?
Well, officially, my holiday commenced yesterday. I have a small boat down in the harbor, and I'm going to make a tour of the rivers of France. But before I go
Sounds
out there,
nice.
I shall telephone my ministry and then post them my report.
Couldn't you leave it until you get back?
I think it's dead.
But it could still sting.
Is it a bee?
What an awe-inspiring sight.
Or a
Now,
wasp?
what chance would human beings have, I really wonder, in a world of creatures like this bee?
None at
No.
all.
Not at all.
Have a closer look.
Well, I haven't taken my eyes off it, Grandfather. It hasn't even trembled. Seems all right. It is dead.
It's the same distinctive aroma.
Yes,
Oh, we're progressing nicely.
seen a lot more of those dead ants, Doctor.
Yes, rather widespread, I'm afraid.
Oh, dear. I wonder what would have happened to us.
He's been shot dead.
You sure he is dead?
Oh, yes.
There's nothing but death all around us.
For all of us, that everything is dead.
So true.
Grandfather!
Jeez, coming face to face with that thing. Oh, that would be pretty creepy. Yeah, so we're gonna end that there with the cat facing the cat. I'm not a cat lover. I love tigers, but cats, your standard cat, no. An okay episode. Not sure if this is anything like Honey, I Shrank the Kids. I've never seen that movie, but, you know, not sure if this is anything like that. But the premise is good, you know, being smaller and having to survive on Earth, you know, at the size of an inch, or about 2.57 centimeters. Let's break it down. So we start off. Oh. Yeah, so we start off here in the TARDIS. Doctor's on the control panel. Barbara is burnt because something on the TARDIS console is overheating. Susan goes to check the fault locator. I don't think we actually have a fault locator in New Who at all. I guess they will be displayed on the console screens in New Who. Then the doors open and Barbara, Ian and Susan have to close it manually because the Doctor's unable to close it from the control panel. The Doctor gets quite concerned, a bit snippy towards Barbara and Ian. Then after he comes back, he apologizes to Barbara for being a bit angry and frustrated at them. Obviously the doors opening Classic Who is concerning because, well, from what I take from this is that the force field that we have in New Who, for instance, when Donna and the Doctor were looking out at the formation of the Earth, doesn't actually exist in the TARDIS yet. Then the scanner blows up. Basically, they decide to go out and have a look. Barbara's very much like, yeah, let's go out and have a look, which has sort of changed her demeanour from, I feel, last season a bit. But Barbara does seem to take charge. I think the Aztecs and the Sensorites was a good example of that. Yeah, then we leave the TARDIS, we're, looking around, it's warm, they checking out this material, which seems to be a concrete stone sort of thing. They split up and go look two different ways. The Doctor and Barbara find a worm, it's dead. Then Ian and Susan are going off and they find these eggs, these giant eggs. And then the design of this Anne, I think, is brilliant. It looks really, really good. Basically, they're thinking we're on an alien world where, ants are bigger. The fact is, for an ant, I'd say to be bigger, probably the planet's gravity would be stronger. Yeah, so the Doctor's pretty sure that this worm is actually from Earth. Then we have Ian and Susan looking at this, what I'm guessing is a cigarette thing or something in Northwich. I could be wrong, it might not be tobacco. But we have obviously a match here. Probably used with the tobacco or whatever. Yep, a matchbox. They find a matchbox. And then Susan says, we've basically been reduced to the size of an inch. Then they pan out and you see that they're in an average garden. Then someone picks up the matchbox, Ian falls inside, and he takes it away. Here we have Susan back to her sort of screaming sort of voice that's quite jarring. We're introduced to this man. The doctor checks to see the distance, quite far, obviously, for them. Would be quite a long, lengthy walk for them. Here we have this guy again who seems to be some sort of scientist. And he meets this businessman who, of course, is only interested in the profits his company can make and that sort of thing and pattern, but the scientists won't approve it simply because it kills everything. And then this guy says he's going off on a trip to France, which will be quite nice. However, the businessman ends up shooting him dead. Which, yeah, is all about greed, ultimately. Here we have, it's either a bee or a wasp, I'm not sure. Obviously in this time period it was before 2008, was it, or 2009? When all the bees fled Earth. In the end of Series 4. It's dead, you know, find a smell that's around each of the dead animals, which is probably part of the insecticide that's being used. We hear the gunshot, but it sounds like an ancient cannon in their ears, I suppose. Ian comes out of the matchbox. He goes and he finds the dead body. That is so funny, that picture. It's like they're trying to pretend that it's really a guy. I mean, I get it. It's the 1960s, CGI, all of that, not around yet. It's, they're doing the best they can, and it doesn't bother me. You know, it's not like, oh, look at that, I can't like the story. In fact, so far, I have been relatively enjoying it. It's interesting. Then we're introduced to this cat, and we'll see what happens in the next episode. Okay, so that was my breakdown of Doctor Who, Planet of the Giants, I think it was. Yeah, so enjoyed that episode. It's a good first episode. I know this story is only 3 episodes, which I think will be interesting to see if it goes too quickly or if it goes just right. You know, because some of the, like the Daleks, for instance, that was it 7 episodes, I think? And it was just felt a bit too long for me and a bit hard to get through. Same with the Sensorites and all of that. With the 6 episodes, I find is a little bit too much. But that may just be the story that goes with the 6 episodes. But yeah, I don't think there's much more else to be said. I shall see you next time with another classic Who reaction. So remember, the full uncut unedited reaction is available on Patreon. Also in the description below is my Twitter and Facebook accounts. Yeah, so I will see you next time. Bye.